This is Sports Drive.
Welcome back into Sports Drive once again. I'm your host, Preston Moore. I mentioned earlier in the show we'd be talking with head coach Michael Mook of West Texas A&M softball. The Lady Buffs retained their #1 ranking in the country just today. They're looking forward to a great final series of the season before the postseason. Joining me right now to talk about that, like I mentioned, head coach Michael Mook of the WT softball team. Coach Mook, how are you doing today?
Doing great. Excited to be here.
Absolutely. I'm excited to talk a little WT softball with you. You guys, I just mentioned it. You guys have had the best season so far in all of Division II. It's pretty clear. You guys retain that #1 number today. Obviously, I know that's not something that you guys look at, but once again, it's something I've asked you before on the show. I think I asked you at a certain point maybe earlier this season, just a couple weeks ago, but what does it mean for the confidence of your team, especially now, one series to go, and you get to look at that number and say, hey, we're the #1 team in the country. We can have some confidence going into the last series heading into the postseason.
Yeah, it's nice to get the recognition. Obviously, the number that matters the most is what you're ranked at the end of the season. So we still got work to do. We're excited for this weekend series. Angelo's going to be a tough game. Going to be some really fun games to come out and watch. They're a really good softball team. I think they're right behind us at 3rd in the conference, so it's going to be fun.
Yeah, and when you look at that, they are 3rd in the conference, and the conference race, obviously, the conference standings matter quite a bit. And while you guys have pulled out in that front spot, that being said, the LSC tournament's still sort of looming, and we know that that's coming, and we know that you guys will be a part of that LSC tournament regardless of how these next 3 games with Angelo State goes. So when you look at this LSC tournament, what sort of, I guess at this point in the season, you know that all the teams that you play in conference play are playing for seeding opportunities and playing to get that highest seed. So how heightened is the intensity? How heightened is the level of play that you've seen, not just what you're expecting in this Angelo State series, but also just in the last 3-4 series that you've had?
Yeah, I think the level of play as the season goes on just gets better and better. Teams just get more practiced up. They see such good competition all the time that in our conference, any team can win on any day. So, just seeing that tough competition every single day, I feel like it just sharpens you up, and just some really good softball being played in the LSC right now all the way around.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, we were just talking just a bit ago with Riley Robinson on the show about how incredible your offensive firepower has been. Obviously, you've been great on the mound as well, but 3 hitters over 400 on the year. Diana Murtha batting 500 on the year. That's in 48 games. 500 over 48 games is kind of unfathomable to me, to be completely honest. Blows my mind. That being said, you guys did take your first shutout of the year this past weekend against Cameron. They took 1 win from you over at their place. Only 1 team has swept Cameron all year long, so they're obviously a very difficult team to sweep. But when you do have that first shutout loss, what's your message to the team after that, knowing the incredible season that you've had?
Yeah, nothing really changes. That was just one of those games we hit some balls hard. We just hit it right to people. Mm-hmm. Softball can be a weird sport like that, where you can hit 3-line drives right to somebody, and then you can hit a blooper and get on. So it was just one of those games where our hits just didn't fall, and the other team made some nice plays. Their pitcher threw really well against us, but really for us it was just be prepared for the next game.
And clearly you were prepared for the next game, and the bats reheated pretty quickly as you guys got 10 runs once again in that 3rd game to take the series. Again, I mentioned some of that offensive firepower, 3 batters over 400 with Brittany Rufus, Lauren Granger, and then Diana Murtha up at 500. What is it about these girls? What is it about this season that has them playing to this level? Because it's one thing to say, when I mentioned 500 just a little bit ago to Riley on the show, I said, 500 is a staggering number for an entire season. It's something that you may expect to hear, over the course of the last 3-4 games, over the course of a certain stretch, you may expect to hear that. But 500 over the course of 48 games is truly spectacular. So what is it about this team that has them playing at this level?
They prepare well. They're smart softball players. A lot of them have been around for quite a while. That always helps out. And the new players have done a good job of soaking up information, and the returning players have done a good job of sharing information with them. And they just mesh well with each other. But probably the big thing is just their preparation. They prepare well every single week. They're smart, and when they get in the batter's box, they got a plan, and then they execute it. And again, credit's just a lot of their hard work is what's gotten them to where they're at right now.
Absolutely. Well, I mentioned earlier, obviously, that Angelo State series coming up starting on Friday. What exactly are you expecting from Angelo State, knowing they're another top 25 team in the country? They're top 3 in the conference as well. And last series of the season at Schaefer Park, last series of the regular season. So what does this series mean to you? What are you expecting from this series, whether on the field or off?
Yeah, I think it's going to be ultra competitive. They're just a good softball team, and they've played well all season. Obviously, to be third in our conference is quite the credit to them. But I think they've got good offense. I think they got good pitching. I think they play good defense. They're just a well-rounded team. They're similar to us as far as they can kind of play all aspects of the game. So for us to come out on top, we're going to have to make sure that everybody's ready to go, and that we're playing really good defense. It usually starts there with us. Obviously, pitching has to be on, and we got to get some good hits when we need them.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, when you look at the, obviously coming up, we have the postseason, like I mentioned, Lone Star Conference Championships coming up. We know that WT will be there. We know that it's very possible that you guys may host the LSC Championships. But I want to ask, from LSC Championships of years past, do you have any memories that you think back to at this time of year that kind of come to mind whenever I bring this up? Obviously, it's a very special time of year to get to be playing, softball in the month of May.
Yeah, just to be playing is awesome. Obviously, the year we went to the national championship, that's kind of when our run really started, and we really started heating up. We played really well in the conference tournament, won the conference tournament, and kind of took that momentum right into regionals and into the World Series. So, definitely that's definitely the top moment that I can think of.
I kind of expected that answer a little bit from you. National championships, hard to eclipse. So one more question for you before we let you go, Coach. When it comes to, building that momentum, you talk about, the LSC championships, where that tournament was sort of when you were able to start that momentum that led you to the national championship eventually. By extension, I think that can happen in the last series of the season, especially when your last series of the season is at home. So even though you have locked up a spot in the Lone Star Conference Championship, you have locked up, that spot, and you are pretty ahead of the 1 seed, comfortably winning at this point in the season. This is a pivotal time that you could also build momentum, knowing that you've got your last series of the season at Schaefer Park. How important is it in that regard?
Yeah, we always want to play well at home. Obviously Schaefer Park, I think, is the best place to play in college softball. It's just fun. We get the fans out there. I think we're going to have a good crowd. If anybody's watching this, come on out and watch our game Friday and Saturday. Going to be some good softball. It's always entertaining. Our style of play and Angela's style of play. It's going to just be a fun series to watch. So we want to take the momentum and carry that right into playoffs. You're exactly right.
Absolutely, and we're certainly very excited for it. Coach Mook, once again, thanks for coming on the show, talking a little WT softball. Congratulations on a spectacular season so far, 43-5. Looking forward to hopefully a very deep postseason run from the Lady Buffs. Coach, once again, thanks for coming on.
Absolutely, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We'll be right back on Sports Drive in just a moment.